What if I told you that one man changed the world forever? Not with wealth, not with power, but with patience, courage, and unshakable faith. Welcome back to Learning English Level 3. Today we're diving into the powerful life story of Prophet Muhammad, PBUH. This is not just a lesson from history. It is a story of strength during hardship, kindness in the face of cruelty, and hope when everything seems lost. As you listen, you won't only discover an inspiring story, you'll also improve your English. Pay close attention to the words, the expressions, and the meaning behind them. Every minute you listen, your English gets stronger. If you enjoy learning English through meaningful and powerful stories, make sure you subscribe. Your support helps this channel grow and allows me to create more lessons for you. Now, take a deep breath, and let's begin this inspiring journey. Birth in Mecca and early childhood. Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, was born in the city of Mecca in the year 570 CE. This year is known as the Year of the Elephant. It was called this because a powerful ruler came to destroy the Kaaba with a large army that had elephants. But Allah protected the Kaaba. Soon after this great event, Muhammad, PBUH, was born. He was born into the respected tribe of Quraysh. His family was known as Banu Hashim. They were noble people, but they were not rich. His father's name was Abdullah, and his mother's name was Amina. His father died before he was born. This means Muhammad, PBUH, never saw his father. From the very beginning, his life was not easy. His mother loved him very much. She cared for him with deep love and kindness. When he was born, many people noticed that he was a special child. It is reported that his mother felt peace and light at the time of his birth. His grandfather Abdul Muttalib was very happy. He named him Muhammad, which means the praised one. This name was not common at that time. It was special and meaningful. When he was still a baby, he was sent to live in the desert with a kind woman named Halima. This was a common tradition in Mecca. Families sent their babies to the desert so they could grow up strong and learn pure Arabic. Life in the desert was simple and healthy. The air was clean. People were strong and honest. Halima loved Muhammad, PBUH, very much. She noticed many blessings after he came into her home. Her animals gave more milk. Her family had more food. Her life became better. She believed this child was full of blessings. She took care of him with great care and affection. Muhammad, PBUH, stayed with Halima for about 4 years. During this time, he grew into a calm and gentle child. He did not fight with other children. He was polite and kind. Even as a young boy, he showed good manners. After a few years, he returned to his mother in Mecca. His mother was very happy to have him back. She decided to take him to visit his father's grave in Medina. This was a long journey. On their way back to Mecca, his mother became very sick. Sadly, she passed away when Muhammad, PBUH, was only 6 years old. This was a very painful moment. He had already lost his father. Now he lost his mother too. He became an orphan at a very young age. Imagine how sad and lonely he must have felt. But even in this pain, Allah was protecting him. After his mother's death, his grandfather took care of him. His grandfather loved him deeply and treated him with honor. Even as a child, Muhammad, PBUH, showed patience and strength. His early childhood was full of loss and hardship. Yet these experiences made him strong, kind, and understanding. He knew pain. He knew sadness. That is why later in life, he showed so much mercy and compassion to others. Life as an orphan. Prophet Muhammad (PBUH) knew the pain of loss from a very young age. His father Abdullah died before he was born. He entered this world without ever seeing his father's face. This was the first test in his life. But a bigger test was still to come. When he was 6 years old, his mother Amina took him on a journey to Medina. She wanted him to visit his father's grave and meet his relatives. It was a long trip across the hot desert. After staying there for some time, they began their journey back to Mecca. On the way home, his mother became very sick. Soon she passed away. Muhammad (PBUH) was only 6 years old. He had now lost both parents. He was alone in this world. Imagine being a small child with no mother and no father. It was a heavy pain for such a young heart. But Allah was watching over him. After his mother's death, his grandfather Abdul Muttalib took care of him. His grandfather was a respected leader of the Quraysh. He loved Muhammad (PBUH) very much. He would make him sit beside him, even in important meetings. He treated him with honor and kindness. He saw something special in his grandson. But when Muhammad (PBUH) was 8 years old, his grandfather also passed away. This was another deep loss. In just 2 years, he had lost his mother and grandfather. Once again he felt the pain of separation. Now his uncle Abu Talib became his guardian. Abu Talib was not a rich man, but he had a big heart. He cared for Muhammad (PBUH) like his own son. He protected him and supported him. Muhammad (PBUH) also respected and loved his uncle deeply. Growing up as an orphan made him strong, taught him patience. It taught him to trust Allah. He did not grow up with wealth or luxury. He grew up with hardship. But these hardships built his character. As a young boy, he began to work as a shepherd. He took care of sheep in the desert. This was simple work, but it was important. Being alone in the desert gave him time to think. It taught him responsibility, taught him how to care for others. Every prophet worked as a shepherd at some point in life. It was training for leadership. Because he had no parents, he understood the feelings of orphans. Later in life, he would speak strongly about protecting orphans. He said that the one who cares for an orphan will be close to him in paradise. He did not just speak these words. He lived them. He knew that pain. His life as an orphan did not make him weak. It made him kind. It made him humble. It made him strong inside. He did not complain. He did not lose hope. Instead, he grew into a man with a soft heart and a brave spirit. His early struggles remind us of an important lesson. Your difficult past does not decide your future. Pain can build strength. Loss can build patience. Hardship can build greatness. Muhammad (PBUH) started life as an orphan, but he became one of the greatest leaders in history. That is the power of patience, faith, and trust in Allah. His youth and honest character. As Prophet Muhammad (PBUH) grew from a child into a young man, people began to notice something special about him. He was not like other young men of Mecca. He did not waste his time in bad habits. He did not join in idol worship. He did not lie or cheat. Even before he became a prophet, his character was pure. Mecca at that time was full of problems. Many people worshipped idols made of stone. Some people drank alcohol. Some treated the poor badly. There was injustice in society. But Muhammad PBUH stayed away from these wrong actions. He always chose what was right. As a teenager, he worked as a shepherd. He took care of sheep in the hot desert. This work was not easy. The sun was strong. The land was dry. But he did his job with patience. Being a shepherd taught him leadership. It taught him to protect the weak and guide those under his care. It also gave him time to think deeply about life. When he became older, he started working in trade. He joined trade journeys with his uncle Abu Talib. They traveled to places like Syria. Trade in those days required honesty and smart thinking. A dishonest trader could easily cheat others. But Muhammad PBUH was always truthful. People trusted him with their money and goods. He never betrayed that trust. He never lied about prices. He never hid the truth about products. Because of this, the people of Makkah gave him a special title. They called him Al-Amin. This means the trustworthy. This was a big honor. Imagine a whole city agreeing that you are the most honest person among them. Even those who later became his enemies trusted him before he became a prophet. One famous example shows his wisdom. The people of Makkah once rebuilt the Kaaba. When it was time to place the black stone back in its position, the leaders began to argue. Each tribe wanted the honor of placing it. The argument became serious. They were close to fighting. Finally, they decided that the next person who entered the area would judge between them. That person was Muhammad PBUH. When they saw him, they said, "It is Al-Amin. We trust him." He solved the problem in a smart and peaceful way. He placed the black stone on a cloth. Then he asked each tribe leader to hold one corner of the cloth. Together they lifted it. Then Muhammad PBUH placed the stone in its position with his own hands. Everyone was satisfied. A fight was avoided. This shows his wisdom and fairness. Even before prophethood, his youth teaches us powerful lessons. Good character is more important than wealth. Honesty brings respect. Truthfulness builds trust. You do not need to be famous to be great. You need strong character. Muhammad PBUH did not become honest after he received revelation. He was honest his whole life. That is why people believed him when he later called them to Islam. His youth was simple, but it was full of meaning. He built his name on truth, trust, and kindness. And that strong foundation prepared him for the great mission that was coming. Marriage to Khadija R.A. When Prophet Muhammad PBUH was 25 years old, a new chapter began in his life. This chapter was full of love, respect, and support. It was his marriage to Khadija R.A. Khadija R.A. was a noble and respected woman in Makkah. She was known for her intelligence and good character. She was also a successful businesswoman. At that time, it was rare for a woman to lead a business, but Khadija R.A. was strong and independent. Many people respected her. She needed someone honest to manage her trade caravans. Muhammad PBUH was already known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. Because of his good reputation, she chose him to lead her business journey to Syria. Muhammad PBUH accepted the job. He worked with full honesty and care. During the journey, he showed excellent character. He was fair in trade. He did not cheat. He did not lie. He treated everyone with respect. The journey was very successful. Khadija R.A. made more profit than usual. But what impressed her most was not the prophet. It was his character. She heard from her servant about his kindness, truthfulness, and modesty. She saw that he was different from other men. He was calm. He was sincere. He was respectful. Khadija decided she wanted to marry him. Even though she was older than him, she valued his character more than anything else. She sent a proposal to him through a close friend. Muhammad accepted. With the agreement of their families, they got married. Their marriage was simple but full of blessings. It was not built on wealth or status. It was built on trust, respect, and love. Their home became a place of peace. Khadija supported him in every way. She believed in him. She trusted him. He respected her deeply. He never forgot her kindness. They were blessed with children. They shared happy moments and difficult times together. For 25 years, their marriage remained strong. During this time, Muhammad did not marry anyone else. This shows how much he loved and honored her. The most powerful moment came years later. When Muhammad received the first revelation in the cave of Hira, he was afraid. He rushed home shaking. He said, "Cover me, cover me." He was worried and confused. Khadija did not doubt him. She did not laugh at him. She did not ignore him. Instead, she comforted him with strong and beautiful words. She said, "Allah will never disgrace you. You keep good relations with family. You help the poor. You serve your guests. You speak the truth." She was the first person to believe in his prophethood. She stood beside him when others rejected him. She gave her wealth to support Islam. She gave her heart to support him. Their marriage teaches us an important lesson. A strong relationship is built on faith and character. True love means standing together in hard times. Success is easier when someone believes in you. Khadija was not just his wife. She was his best supporter. She was his comfort. She was his strength. This beautiful marriage reminds us that behind every great leader, there is often someone who supports them with love, trust, and faith. The first revelation in Cave Hira. As Prophet Muhammad grew older, he began to think deeply about the world around him. He saw that people in Mecca were worshipping idols made of stone. They were unfair to the poor. They buried baby girls alive. The strong oppressed the weak. Lies and injustice were common. These things made him very sad. He had a pure heart. He wanted truth. He wanted justice. He wanted peace. To find quiet and peace, he often went to a cave called Hira. This cave was in the mountains near Mecca. He would spend many days and nights there. He would pray. He would think. He would reflect on life and the Creator. He wanted answers. Then one night everything changed. It was the month of Ramadan. Muhammad was 40 years old. While he was alone in the cave, suddenly the angel Jibril appeared before him. It was a powerful and frightening moment. The angel said, "Read." Muhammad was shocked. He replied, "I cannot read." He was not taught how to read or write. The angel held him tightly and repeated the command, "Read." Again he said, "I cannot read." This happened 3 times. Then the angel recited the first words of the Quran. "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clot. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man what he did not know." These were the first verses of the Quran. This was the beginning of Islam. Muhammad PBUH was very afraid. He had never experienced anything like this before. His heart was beating fast. He quickly left the cave and rushed home. He said to Khadija, "Cover me, cover me." He was trembling. Khadija wrapped him in a blanket and comforted him. When he told her what happened, she did not doubt him. She did not fear for him. Instead, she gave him hope. She said, "Allah will never disgrace you. You are kind to your family. You help the poor. You are honest and truthful." She took him to her cousin Waraka ibn Nawfal, who was a learned man. After hearing the story, Waraka said that the angel who came to him was the same angel who came to Prophet Musa, Moses. He told Muhammad PBUH that he had been chosen as a prophet. This moment was the start of a great mission. From that night, his life would never be the same. He was chosen to guide people from darkness to light. He was chosen to teach the message of one God. The first revelation teaches us something powerful. Change often begins in quiet moments. Great missions start with small steps. Even the Prophet PBUH felt fear at first. But he trusted Allah. This event reminds us that knowledge is important. The first word revealed was read. Islam values learning. It values understanding. From a quiet cave in the mountains, a message began that would change the world forever. Early preaching of Islam. After the first revelation in the cave of Hira, Prophet Muhammad PBUH understood that he had a great mission. He was chosen by Allah to guide people to the truth. But this mission was not easy. It required courage, patience, and strong faith. At first, he did not call people openly. For 3 years, he invited people to Islam quietly. He started with those closest to him. The first person to believe in him was his wife, Khadija. She trusted him completely. She knew his character. She knew he would never lie. Then his young cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib accepted Islam. He was only a boy, but his faith was strong. His close friend Abu Bakr also believed in him. Abu Bakr was respected in Mecca. Through him, many others accepted Islam. These early Muslims prayed together in secret. They learned the new verses of the Quran. They strengthened their faith. They believed in one God, Allah. They believed that Muhammad PBUH was his messenger. After 3 years, Allah commanded him to preach openly. Now the real challenge began. Muhammad PBUH gathered the people of Mecca and stood on Mount Safa. He called out to them and asked, "If I told you that an army was coming behind this mountain, would you believe me?" They all answered, "Yes. We have never heard you lie." Then he said, "I warn you of a severe punishment. Worship Allah alone." People were shocked. They believed in many idols. Their families had worshipped idols for generations. They did not want to change. Some people laughed at him. Some got angry. His own uncle Abu Lahab stood against him. He shouted harsh words. Many leaders of Quraysh felt threatened. They feared losing power and money. But Muhammad PBUH did not stop. He continued to teach about kindness, charity, honesty, and justice. He told them to care for the poor. He told them to stop burying baby girls. He told them that all people are equal before Allah. The message was simple but powerful. The leaders of Mecca tried to stop him. They offered him wealth. They offered him leadership. They even offered him to be their king. They said they would give him anything if he stopped preaching. But he refused. He said if they placed the sun in his right hand and the moon in his left hand, he would not leave this message. This shows his strong faith. He did not want money. He did not want power. He only wanted to please Allah. The early Muslims faced insults and pressure. Some were beaten. Some were tortured. But they remained strong. Their faith gave them courage. The early preaching of Islam teaches us a powerful lesson. When you stand for truth, not everyone will support you. Some people may laugh. Some may try to stop you. But if you believe in what is right, you must stay firm. Muhammad (PBUH) began with only a few followers. But his patience and honesty slowly changed hearts. Great change often starts small. Stay strong. Stay patient. Truth always shines in the end. Hardships and persecution in Mecca. As Islam began to spread in Mecca, the leaders of Quraysh became very angry. They felt their power was in danger. They earned money from idol worship. People came from far places to visit the idols around the Kaaba. If people accepted Islam, idol worship would end. Their pride and business would fall. So they decided to fight the message of Islam. At first, they mocked Prophet Muhammad (PBUH). They called him names. They said he was a poet. They said he was a magician. They said he was crazy. But deep inside they knew he was truthful. They had called him Al-Amin for many years. When mocking did not stop him, they began to hurt his followers. Many early Muslims were poor and weak. They had no protection. The leaders tortured them in the hot desert. They placed heavy stones on their chests. They beat them with whips. They left them without food or water. One of these brave believers was Bilal R.A. His master dragged him into the burning sand. He placed a heavy rock on his chest. He told him to leave Islam. But Bilal only said one word again and again. Ahad, Ahad. It means one, one. He believed in one God. He did not give up. Another family, the family of Yasser, was also tortured. Sumaya R.A., the mother, became the first martyr in Islam. She was killed because she refused to leave her faith. She stayed strong until her last breath. Prophet Muhammad (PBUH) felt deep pain when he saw his followers suffering. But he could not fight back. He had no army. He had no power. He told them to be patient. He promised them that Allah would reward them. The Quraysh also hurt the Prophet (PBUH) directly. They threw dirt on him while he was praying. They placed the dirty insides of a camel on his back when he was in sujud. They laughed at him. But he stayed calm. He prayed for them. For 3 years, the Muslims faced a harsh boycott. The Quraysh stopped all trade and marriage with them. They were forced to live in a small valley outside Mecca. Food was very little. Children cried from hunger. Sometimes they ate leaves just to survive. It was a time of great pain. But they did not give up their faith. Then came the year of sorrow. His beloved wife Khadija R.A. passed away. Soon after, his uncle Abu Talib also died. Abu Talib had protected him from enemies. Now that protection was gone. The Prophet (PBUH) felt alone and heartbroken. But he did not stop his mission. These hardships teach us something powerful. Success does not come without struggle. Faith is tested in difficult times. Real strength is shown during pain. The Prophet (PBUH) could have stopped. He could have chosen comfort. But he stayed patient. He trusted Allah. Hard times do not last forever. After every storm there is calm. The suffering in Makkah was building a stronger community. It was preparing them for a better future. This part of his life reminds us to stay strong when we face problems. Be patient. Trust Allah. Better days will come. The migration Hijra to Medina. The suffering in Makkah became very severe. The Muslims were tortured. They were insulted. They were boycotted. Many had already left their homes to escape persecution. But Prophet Muhammad (PBUH) remained in Makkah. He waited for Allah's command. The leaders of Quraysh saw that Islam was still growing. They became more afraid. They held a secret meeting. They made a dangerous plan. They decided to kill Muhammad (PBUH). They chose one strong man from each tribe. They would attack him at the same time. This way no single tribe would be blamed. But Allah is the best planner. Allah informed the Prophet (PBUH) about their plan. He was told to leave Makkah and migrate to Medina. This migration is called Hijra. It was not just a journey. It was the start of a new chapter in history. That night the Prophet (PBUH) asked Ali R.A. to sleep in his bed. This was a brave act. The enemies were waiting outside his house. But the Prophet (PBUH) walked out safely. Allah protected him. The enemies could not see him. He did not travel alone. His close friend Abu Bakr R.A. joined him. They left quietly at night. Instead of taking the usual road to Medina, they went in the opposite direction. They hid in a cave called Thor. The enemies searched everywhere. They even reached the mouth of the cave. Abu Bakr R.A. became worried. He feared they would be seen. But the Prophet (PBUH) said, "Do not be sad. Allah is with us." This shows his strong faith. Even in danger he trusted Allah completely. Allah protected them in a beautiful way. A spider made a web at the entrance of the cave. A bird built a nest and laid eggs. When the enemies saw this, they thought no one could be inside. So they left. After 3 days, the Prophet (PBUH) and Abu Bakr R.A. continued their journey to Medina. The trip across the desert was long and hard. The sun was hot. The road was dangerous. But their hearts were full of hope. When they finally reached Medina, the people welcomed them with joy. Men, women, and children came out to greet them. They were happy. They sang songs. They were ready to protect the Prophet (PBUH) with their lives. In Medina everything changed. The Muslims were no longer weak and hidden. They were free to pray openly. The Prophet (PBUH) built the first mosque. It became the center of the community. It was a place of worship, learning, and unity. He also created brotherhood between the Muslims of Makkah and Medina. He taught them to love and support each other. The Hijra was more than a move from one city to another. It was the beginning of an Islamic society built on faith, justice, and peace. This journey teaches us a powerful lesson. Sometimes you must leave behind comfort to protect your faith. Sometimes change is necessary for growth. When you trust Allah and take brave steps, new doors open. The Hijra reminds us that after hardship comes ease, and after darkness comes light. The return to Makkah and forgiveness. After the migration to Medina, Islam continued to grow. The Muslims became stronger. They built a united community. They defended themselves in battles. Slowly, many tribes accepted Islam. But Makkah was still controlled by the Quraysh. The same people who had tortured the Muslims were still there. For many years, The Muslims and the Quraysh had conflicts. Then a peace treaty was signed. It was called the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. This treaty allowed peace between both sides for 10 years. However, after some time, the Quraysh broke the treaty. They supported an attack against a tribe that was allied with the Muslims. This was a serious violation. Now the Muslims had the right to respond. Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, prepared a large army. It had around 10,000 men. This was the largest Muslim army ever seen at that time. They moved toward Mecca quietly. The goal was not revenge. The goal was to take control peacefully. When the army came close to Mecca, the Quraysh became afraid. They remembered how they had treated the Prophet, PBUH. They remembered the torture, the insults, the boycott, the plan to kill him. Now they thought he would take revenge. But they did not understand his heart. The Prophet, PBUH, entered Mecca with humility. He did not enter proudly. He lowered his head in thankfulness to Allah. There was no fighting. Very little blood was shed. Mecca was taken peacefully. The idols around the Kaaba were destroyed. The house of Allah was purified. Truth had returned to its center. Then came the most powerful moment. The people of Mecca gathered in fear. They stood before the Prophet, PBUH. They waited for his decision. He asked them, "What do you think I will do to you?" They replied, "You are a noble brother, son of a noble brother." He could have punished them. He had the power. He had the army. But he chose mercy. He said, "No blame will be upon you today. Oh, you are all free." With these simple words, he forgave them all. Think about this moment. These were the same people who hurt him for years. They made him leave his home. They killed his followers. They insulted him. Yet he forgave them. This forgiveness changed hearts. Many people accepted Islam after this. They saw that he was not seeking power. He was seeking peace. The return to Mecca shows true leadership. Real strength is not in revenge. Real strength is in forgiveness. The Prophet, PBUH, showed that mercy is more powerful than anger. Kindness is stronger than hate. This event teaches us an important lesson. When you have power, choose mercy. When you are hurt, choose forgiveness. Forgiveness does not make you weak. Makes you great. The return to Mecca was not just a victory of land. It was a victory of character. It was the moment when mercy defeated hatred. And that is why his story still touches hearts today. His final sermon and passing away. In the 10th year after the migration to Medina, Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, performed his last pilgrimage. This pilgrimage is known as the Farewell Pilgrimage. Thousands of Muslims joined him. They came from many tribes and places. They wanted to learn from him. They felt that this might be his last Hajj. On the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah, he stood on the plain of Arafat. It was a powerful moment. The sun was shining. The crowd was large. Everyone listened carefully. He delivered a message that would guide Muslims forever. This speech is known as the final sermon. He began by praising Allah. Then he spoke clearly and simply. He reminded the people that their lives and property are sacred. No one has the right to harm another person. He ended the blood feuds of the past. He told them that revenge from the time of ignorance was finished. He spoke about equality. He said that all people come from Adam, and Adam was created from dust. He said that no Arab is better than a non-Arab. No white person is better than a black person. The only thing that makes someone better is righteousness and good character. This message was powerful. It broke barriers of race and tribe, taught respect for all humans. He also spoke about the rights of women. He told men to treat women kindly. He reminded them that women have rights just as men have rights. In a time when women were often treated badly, this message was revolutionary. He reminded people to return trusts to their owners. He warned them to stay away from interest and injustice. He told them to hold firmly to the Quran and his teachings. He said that if they followed these, they would never go astray. Then he asked the people, "Have I delivered the message?" The crowd answered loudly, "Yes." He raised his finger to the sky and said, "O Allah, bear witness." This was a very emotional moment. Soon after, the verse was revealed. "Today I have perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and chosen Islam as your religion." The mission was complete. A few months later, Prophet Muhammad (PBUH) became ill. His sickness lasted several days. He continued to advise people to pray and to treat others well. Even in his weakness, he cared for his community. He passed away in the year 632 CE, at the age of 63. He died in the room of his beloved wife Aisha, R.A. His final words reminded people about prayer and kindness. The news spread quickly. The companions were heartbroken. Some could not believe he had died. But Abu Bakr R.A. stood strong and said, "Whoever worshipped Muhammad, Muhammad has died. But whoever worships Allah, Allah is ever living." His body left this world, but his message remained alive. His final sermon shows his deep care for humanity. His passing reminds us that every soul will taste death. What remains is our character and our deeds. He completed his mission with honesty and courage. He left behind guidance, mercy, and light. His life ended, but his example continues to inspire millions around the world.